In this lesson, we're going to work on the shirt of the character. Alright, so I want to come in and I want to start working on the shirt of our character. And so let's go ahead and start working on the collar. A couple of things that I want to do with the collar of our character is I want to move it around. So we're going to use the move tool, and I'm going to bring up my draw size a little bit. And I want to pull it away from the body in different areas. And what I want to do with this is I want to just create kind of this stretched out collar. Like it's been worn for quite a while. You know, it's lost its elasticity. Hasn't been washed. And, you know, we're going to create kind of these wrinkled edges, and we can pull it up and around and, you know, just really make this look kind of nasty. Okay, so we'll just kind of pull that around. You want to think of like bacon, the way bacon is shaped. You know, how that's going to kind of help you out with this. So creating these wavy lines. Make sure that you're on the shirt subtool as well. Okay, not pulling around on the body of the character. So we're just kind of pulling that around. That looks good. Okay. Don't have to go, you know, completely crazy with it. You want to make some smaller curves in there, and you want it to fit on the body and things like that, but just make it subtle. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with the dam standard brush, and so I'm going to hit B, D, and S, and let's take our draw size down, something like 8 or so, and I'm just going to come in. Let's hit X to make sure we're using symmetry, and I'm just going to start cutting that in a little bit. Okay, and we'll cut that in around the top, and we're on a low subdivision level, and so we're just cutting this in, creating that indentation. Okay, and then whenever we hit Control D to increase that, see that we get this nice little divot in there, and you can start to play around with things like maybe some holes or whatever. If you want the stitching to appear a little bit closer together in certain areas, you can use the pinch brush. Okay, and start to pinch that together. We don't want to pinch it too much though, but I do want a variation in the seam. Okay, so pinch it here and there, just kind of bring some of that together. And then I'm going to hit Control D one more time to give it a little bit more of a high-res look, and then I'm going to come in with the dam standard brush again, but this time pretty small. And I'm going to cut around the neck again, so I'll just come in and really just start to vary that. Really tighten that up there. Okay, so it should look something like that. Let's make sure we get that right on the inside there too. Okay, there we go. Now there's going to be some, there might be some striations or something like that inside of the neckline. It could be just one solid piece of cloth like this. One thing that I don't really like is the hardness of the edge all the way around, and so let's go ahead and take our draw size up. Let's hold down Shift, and let's start to smooth out that edge. Okay, make it look really round. It's lost its shape. It's lost its elasticity. Whenever you have older clothes, the stitching, the threads break apart, and the clothes begin to break down, and they lose their original shape. And clothes never really even start out with hard ridges like that. If clothes have a hard ridge like that, it's been built in with some sort of high, rigid, firmer piece that's in there holding it together like that. So we're just kind of softening that up. You see how that comes together quite nicely there. You could, if you wanted to, start to play around with a little bit of the symmetry. So if I hit B, M, and V, and let's turn symmetry off by hitting X. Let's take our move brush up, and I'm going to take this up quite a bit actually. my draw size up, and I'll start to kind of play around with how this is laying on the neck. Maybe it's been stretched out on one side or another. Okay, and you can really start to play around with the design of the character, okay, giving it more of an interesting look. Okay, it's important to have the body underneath as well. On this, you don't have to, but I like to use it as a guide. So if I'm putting something like this on a character, and there's areas that maybe get a little far away from the body, I'll know that it's not just going to fit on that character. Just not going to look right. Okay, so just kind of playing around with things like that. Now we also want to make sure that we take care of the sleeves. Now the sleeves, they could have like this stitching like this, but in this case I really don't want that. So I'm going to take my draw size down. I'm going to hit X on the keyboard to go to symmetry, so I don't have to do the other side. And I'm just going to soften these edges here. So just smoothing that out. And you can do the same thing with the sleeves. Okay, you could start to pull them around a little bit. So if you wanted to do symmetry on this one, but we're just going to use the move brush, and I could start to kind of pull parts of this around, pull it away from the body a little bit, okay, in different areas, kind of make it look a little looser. Okay, and things like that. So just kind of play around with some of that. So I didn't turn symmetry on that, okay, which I said I did, but I didn't actually hit the key because I knew that if I were to come in and apply symmetry to that, it would definitely be noticeable on the character, and we don't want things like that. Okay, so we just kind of want to play around with what we've got here. And we could even add in things like tears. You could have one sleeve, maybe it's gone, okay, part of it's really messed up or something like that. Okay, you can have a lot of fun with clothing, especially on post-apocalyptic characters like this. Okay. All right, now we need to start adding in folds and really making the shirt look correct. You know, we've extracted this from the body. The body has some definition in here. You know, we can see pretty much everything on the character. Shirts are not that tight, and they're definitely not that tight to where you can actually see the belly button. It's important to remember that if a part of the body is causing the surface of the shirt to protrude out, it can't go back down in, like in between the breasts. You know, this is something that is overlooked constantly, even around the belly button. That's not going to be shown there. You know, it hides a lot of features, but it will only show the high points of the body itself. And we'll talk about how to properly create this t-shirt, make it form to the body, and then we'll even get into some folds and things like that, probably in the lesson after that. So I'll see you in the next lesson.